everyone and welcome to my channel. I hope that you are all good. In today's video we are doing an easy Valentine's gel polish design with some water decals and stamping, so I hope you all enjoy watching. I have already got my bases applied, so we're going to jump straight to applying the gel polish. So here I'm coming in with Kiki London's pink tint, and this is a really pretty pinky nude shade with a hint of gold shimmer, but it's a little hard to see here on the camera. It picks it up slightly, but it's a lot more pretty in real life. So I'm just going to apply a coat of this to the pointer finger to begin with, and then I'm coming in with Kiki London's, I think this one is called Wild Heat, but I will actually double check and pop it in the description box below. But it is my favourite red from Kiki London. I just always seem to forget the name of this one. It's so highly pigmented, but for a red gel polish it applies absolutely beautifully. Now for my first coat of colour, I like to keep it nice and thin, so I come in right down at the cuticle area. I'm getting a nice neat cuticle line, just allowing my brush to fan out to do that, making sure as I come right around those side walls I'm keeping it as neat as possible as well. But like I said, I'm keeping it nice and thin because I always like to work my gel polish layers super thin. And with the Kiki London colours, I find that most colours only need 2 thin coats. So I'm going to pop down the pink tint on the pointer and the little finger. And as you can see, the Wild Heat on the ring and the middle finger. I loved how these two colours went together. I was a little unsure whether they'd pair up nicely, but I really liked it because the red just is quite bright and bold, and then the pink just neutralizes the set a little bit, but at the same time pulled it all together, especially with the nail art I decided to do on top. So I did cure that first coat in my Kiki London LED lamp for 30 seconds, and then I'm simply coming in and applying a second coat. I'm applying that second coat pretty much exactly the same as before. I like to take my time as I'm going around the cuticle and sidewall area, and then I'm just dragging that colour down towards the free edge, just making sure that there's a nice even application. Once I've finished applying that second coat of colour, I will pop these in to cure for another 30 seconds, and then we're ready to move on to the nail art. Now nail art wise, today we're going to be doing some gel polish marbling, water decals and finishing off with some stamping. However, it is still a fairly simple set, even though there's a few different techniques going on. I just thought it would be a good opportunity to do a simple gel polish design with that Valentine's theme. And I love combining different nail art techniques like stamping and water decals in the same set, because I just think it makes the set look like you've put a lot more effort in than you actually have, if that makes sense. Anyway, moving on, I'm going to be using these gorgeous water decals from Miss Lucy. I'm loving these. I will leave a link in the description box below to her site, along with any other products I've used as well. So I've cut out the 4 water decal hearts that I'm going to use to begin with, and I'm simply popping them in some room temperature water. I leave them to soak for around 20 to 30 seconds, and then I find they just slide off the backing paper effortlessly. Now whilst they are soaking, I'm just simply going to remove the tacky layer from my gel polish. I don't always do this when I'm applying water decals, but if I'm working with a pigmented colour like this particular red, then I will, just because I find it a little bit easier and you're not going to get any colour transfer onto your water decals. And then I'm simply using my tweezers to pop my water decals in place, and then I do pop in and out with my silicone tool just to really rub them down to help them adhere to the nail, and also just get out any creases or air bubbles. And I'm simply applying 4 of these hearts to the nail. I want some of them coming off the side of the nail just because I quite like that effect that that gives off. And I also wanted to fit as many of them as I could on the one nail without them overlapping. So that's why some do come off the nail. I do allow them to sit for a minute or two before I come in and trim off that excess decal. You want to always make sure that you get rid of that excess decal that's at the sides and give yourself a little bit of room between the free edge of the nail and the water decal, so that when you top coat, your top coat fully encapsulates them in, and then you'll find that you won't get any lifting from them or stuff like that. So here I'm just using my stalk scissors to trim off that excess, and just to make sure I move those decals so that they're positioned exactly where I want them. Sometimes it is a little easier to apply your water decals in a base coat or on top of a tacky gel polish. So if you are having any problems with your water decals, just play around with a few different techniques until you find one that works specifically for you. I've got quite a few videos up on my channel using water decals, and I usually play around and include different techniques when I'm applying them. So check out some of those videos if you are struggling. Now I'm going to move on to my gel polish marble. So I'm coming in with the red I used as the base, which I believe is Wild Heat. Then I'm coming in with French White. And the last colour I believe is Beaches and Cream, which is a gorgeous yellow colour. It's like a yellowy nude. And I'm just applying a little bit of that. Now I'm just dotting these on to my nail art palette, and then I'm going to take my dotting tool and swirl through them. I wanted quite a messy marble. I didn't want the lines to look too defined. So that's why I've applied those dots quite close together and pulled through them several times. And then I'm going to apply a thin coat of my base coat just to help those gel polishes melt and bloom into the nail, because again, I didn't want that too defined marble look. So I'm leaving that base coat uncured, taking my ombre brush and then just scooping up some of that marble and placing it down on the nail. And as you can see, because that base coat is there, the gel polish comes off of your brush onto that really easily because gel follows gel, and it also just helps the colours run and marble together. I didn't want this to look too defined because the marble's basically more of a background for my stamping. I just wanted there to be a bit of colour, if that makes sense. So I'm doing the same again because I'm going to be doing this marble on both the pointer and the little finger. And there's so many different ways to do marble nails. Again, in my videos, I try to include different ways of doing them just to mix it up a little bit. And it also depends on the type of marble you're going for. If I'm going for that more messy colours running together marble, I kind of prefer to do it this way, where if I want a more defined gel polish marble, I'll apply the colours directly to the nail. Again, I like to come in with that layer of base coat because it just helps everything flow together when you are doing a marble. You can also use blooming gel for this step if you have that as well, and then I find that it melts that a little bit more. But because I always have base coat to hand, I always reach for that. And I actually really loved how this marble looked. I think it would have looked nice like this as well without the stamping over the top, but I kind of wanted to include a little bit more in the set so it wasn't too simple. I then pop those marbles in to cure for 30 seconds, and I'm now coming in and top coating over the water decals. I'm going to be coming in and doing some stamping, but I just wanted to make sure that these two nails get the first layer of top coat because I do like to double top coat my water decals. Now for the first coat of top coat, I'm coming in with the Kiki London rubber top coat. This one is slightly thicker and I love it for encapsulating any kind of nail art. Because it's that little bit thicker, I just feel as though it secures everything in a lot better. And then I pop those in to cure for 60 seconds. Moving on to the stamping, I'm going to be using this Valentine's Day plate from Born Pretty, and I'm going to be stamping with my Clear Jelly Big Bling. I love this stamper, it's definitely becoming my firm favourite. To stamp with, I'm also using a Born Pretty gold stamping polish. I think this one's called, yeah, In Fire. It's a gorgeous rich gold colour. I love it, especially over colours like red. So I'm going to be coming in with this image in the bottom corner. So it's a full image, so I'm applying a generous amount of stamping polish, swiping across, and as you can see, it picked up absolutely effortlessly. I'm then just cleaning up with my lint roller, and I'm going to place this one straight down onto the nail, working nice and quick because with stamping you really do need to work quick. Now as you can see, the image didn't fully fit the tip of the nail. I needed a tiny bit more, so I'm going to clean up my stamper using that same lint roller. And I'm going to clean up my plate using some acetone and a lint-free pad. You really need to make sure that you fully clean your image, especially if you're going to use it straight away again, because if there's any old stamping polish in there, you will not get a nice image transfer. So make sure to give it a good clean. And then I've just repeated that process as before, and I'm simply using a tiny bit of this image just to fill in the tip area. And then because I've picked up a whole image and I'm doing exactly the same on the little finger, what I've got left there on my stamper, I'm going to come in and apply that to the little finger, just because it's that bit smaller and it was just easier to do it this way. Again, it didn't fully fit, but I was able to finish off the tip just with a little bit I had there. Because of the style of the image, it was easy to just fill in the gaps rather than having to scrape a whole new image. I'll then leave that to dry for a few minutes before cleaning off that excess polish. And then for the ring finger, I'm just coming in with this little heart and heartbeat symbol here. So I'm cleaning off that excess using my lint roller. You can also do this with your scraper, or some people use their nail if they prefer. I always prefer to use my lint roller, to be honest, for anything to do with cleaning up when it comes to stamping. And then I like to just gently press down, give it a little wriggle and lift off. You can press down any little bits that are sticking up. And then this is what the nails looked like once I had finished the stamping. So I did off camera just clean up around the cuticle areas where that stamping had got, and I just did that using a lint free pad and some acetone. And then I'm going to come in and top coat. Now I'm top coating with the classic Kiki London top coat. So this is the one that leaves a tacky layer and you have to wipe it off. Now I've said it in a few videos, but I find this one absolutely amazing for top coating over stamping. It just glides over stamping so effortlessly. If you use a jelly stamper, sometimes you'll find that when it comes to top coating, you end up with pitting in your top coat or the top coat separating. And I have just found that with this particular top coat, I don't seem to get any of that. So I don't even worry about double top coat in my stamping anymore. Just one coat, pop it in secure, and then this was the finished result. So anyway, we're at the end of the video, so I'm going to wrap it up and say goodbye. I hope you all enjoyed watching. If you did, then please leave me a comment below. Lots of love, and I'll see you all again soon in the next video. Bye bye.